those two pieces of us going in and outward, right? So like that's one of the things with the change of the seasons. That's one of the things that I see often is that bringing in of where we're going in versus coming out and vice versa.
How lovely that we use this time of year to set intentions. And we can do this on either solstice because 6 month segments, half the year, astrologically.
We thank the dark for teaching us where the light lives, for the pauses that save us, for the endings that asked us to loosen our grip. We're grateful for the years that shaped us, the lessons that stayed, and the weight we are finally willing to set down.
All those things that I have been in hibernation with is now actually bringing to the forefront and actually moving forward that and nurturing that, and it changes you.
Hey everyone, it's Sophia from Sacred You. Thank you so much for being here. A quick message before we dive into today's discussion. You may have been watching our videos, but have not had a chance to hit that subscribe button. So if you have gained value from our conversations, from our channel, it would be so appreciated for us if you would hit that subscribe button below right now and even give us a like. What that means is not only does it allow us to grow our subscriber base, but it also allows us to bring in even more guests for you to listen to. And you will be one of the first ones to be notified. So please hit that subscribe button and let's get started on today's wonderful panel discussion.
So welcome everyone. I am super excited to be facilitating this wisdom circle. This is our last wisdom circle, at least my last wisdom circle for 2025. And super excited and grateful to be here during this transition of the solstice. So whether you are in the summer solstice or the winter solstice, we are moving into that transition of bringing light and dark back together. And so just really excited that and grateful that we have Sacred You, who offers these opportunities for us to be able to come together. And I do want to acknowledge Alison, who is here in the shadows and coming to listen with us as we move through the discussion panels. Our discussion panels. These are not discussion panels. These are wisdom circles where we're going to have these conversations. And so we have these free-flowing conversations about this particular topic. And being able to bring in the energy coming in from both hemispheres, I think is absolutely incredible. And I am Rollie ALLAIRE. Gigodo Migun is my spirit name, which means talking feather woman. I am from Northeastern Ontario, Canada, and we are in dead of winter for us. Our winter starts much sooner than the solstice. And so we are definitely grateful for the return of the light for us and being able to bring that forward. I am a mom of 2 adult boys, and I have 2 biological grandchildren, one that is 2.5, one that is 8 months old. And then I have 3 heart grandbabies that I love and adore that I got to spend with one extra one yesterday. She is 10, and then we have 2 that are 6. And so these heart babies are family friends that are part of my circle of grandchildren that I've adopted as my grandchildren. So really excited to be here and to share in this space with all of these beautiful ladies. And so Ambika, I will turn it over to you to introduce yourself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ambika Devi. I live in Southeast Florida, USA. And yes, it is the longest night tonight, the winter solstice. I work in between the realms of myth, philosophy, language, the mind, and the voice, and write books. I'm an astrologer, and I'm looking forward to sharing in this wisdom circle and, if needed, answering any in-depth questions about this mystical time of year when the sun moves into the sign of Capricorn. and signals, these solstice points, which, yes, they are not the seasonal points. They're actually of an energy of our planet with its tilt. And so that is why, like Rollie said, winter started a lot earlier. Some say the solstice is actually the midpoint of the season, but mathematically, it may not be 100% correct.
Thanks so much, Ambika. And Kim, what about you? Oh, you're on
Okay,
mute.
you can hear me? All right. That's hard to follow people like you. You have such wisdom and experience. My name is Kim Groshek. I'm in Wisconsin. Dark out here right now. I have a grown-up daughter who's very successful, very proud of her, with 2 grandkids. I lead visionaries, corporate executives really who are in transition and help them build their legacy. But I'm actually the creator of Human OS, and that is really focusing on the somatic and the body, and then how it travels from that triggering moment to emotions, to stories that we create, to the feelings. And I help people understand that in a logical way, because sometimes the non-tangible or woo-woo, if we want to call it that, doesn't make sense to them. So it helps them kind of understand things a little more tactical way. I'm a certified yogi, psychologist, cognitive scientist, computer scientist, athlete, and artist, and author of 55 books. So I have a lot of things that I like to do in life, and I love to hear more about the rest of the panel.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Kim. And Denise, what about you?
Hi, my name's Denise Blackney, and I live in, excuse me, border of Victoria and New South Wales in Australia. So we're in the midst of our summer. So it's about that change on this side of the earth, which is so beautiful. And I love how you said about it's such an energy flow and it's an energy change. So it's beautiful to see that come in. For myself, I help and support people to self-heal. And I love giving all my tools and everything I know and have learned, and from all the modalities that I've done, and also from the experiences that I've had and shared with others as well, to armor people to create their own armor and their own toolkit to be able to self-heal themselves, because it is an innate ability that we all have. We have just got to come back to remembrance, and the solstice is all about that change. Like you said, Rollie, it's about coming from bringing the light and the dark together, so we can shift all those spaces and make the change within ourselves, which is so beautiful. I have 5 children. We've got a his, hers, and ours, which is so blended. And for my birthday, I just turned 60. It was such a beautiful family gathering with all my 5 children's, their partners, and my 5 grandkids. So is lovely to see. And when you say about the solstice, even the change in them, because at points that change comes in for all of us. So it was beautiful to see that as well. I feel very full. My cup is very full at the moment, and I'm very excited even to learn more here about the solstice, because there's some of you here that have a vast knowledge, more than I have on this. So it's beautiful to share all the different perspectives. So I'm so looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thanks, Denise. And again, I want to acknowledge Alison, who is coming in as a guest. And so, Alison, any comments or questions that you have, if you want to put them in the chat, we'll make sure to come back to it at the end, and definitely welcome any feedback that you want to be able to share. And we'll give you an opportunity to share at the end if you choose to. Some guests don't. So just giving you that heads up so that you're aware. But if you choose to, then you're welcome to. For those of you who are listening to the replay, or you guys are watching online, because I do know a couple of you that I was chatting with earlier that are going to be coming in and choosing to join us online, definitely shoot comments in the wherever it is that you're listening to this from, but also check out all these beautiful ladies. And we'll remind you again at the end, there are links somewhere where you're watching this as to how to reach out to all of the ladies that are on this wisdom circle. And so we talked about how the that we're in that solstice, where we're in that mid breaking point between the day and the night. And so we come back again together in June for the opposite season, depending on where we are in the world. And so at this particular turning point, one of the things that I want to be able to focus on during this discussion is some of the moments that we are actually grateful for being in this circle. And so for those of us who are in winter, we're actually moving inward and we're getting into that quiet and into that stillness. Whereas those of you who are in Australia, in this case, it's only Denise that from on our discussion channel or on our discussion panel as to who is coming in from Australia, but and you're going to be coming in and giving that perspective from where you're at in this summer season and bringing things forward. So who wants to share first so what is it about this particular season or this particular cycle that we are closing off and moving into the next, as to what is it that you're grateful for the most in this particular period from last solstice to this solstice? Who wants to start? Denise, you're unmuted. Did you want to start first?
Oh, okay. I will start first. For me, coming in from the last season, the solstice, I suppose there was a lot of uncovering for me. And it was also a space of really going really inside of myself. And for me, that was during, what was it here? Winter, yeah. So for me, it was really a buckling down. And winter for me is very much also, I like to hibernate and really go in and feel that warmth and get that coziness happening. And for me, it's such a nurturing time. So summer for me here is all about this change of going into the renewing. For me, it's about getting out there, feeling it is still the warmth, but it's like the heat is here and it's been 40-degree days for us. So it's really what I've noticed, because I've also got my garden happening, is that the growth of everything and just watching that really take flight, because I started from young seedlings into full-blown plants, just nurturing that. And what they've really showed me is that watering myself, tending to it, where they need to be situated. Some like the sun, the really heat of the sun, some like to be in the shade. So for me, it's coming out and all those things that I have been in hibernation with is now actually bringing to the forefront and actually moving forward that and nurturing that. And it changes you. It changes, like all of that is now, I've moved through all of that. I've gone into the depths of it. I've gone and bringing that shadow and the dark and the light, like you said, that's really struck me, the dark and the light, and actually seeing the light of it and now expanding from there. So I hope I've explained that well. I know I have, but someone will capture it. And yeah, moving from there. So it's like an outcoming for me on a different level. Yeah.
And it really is. And it's that bringing together those two pieces of us going in and outward, right? So that's one of the things with the change of the seasons. That's one of the things that I see often, is that bringing in of where we're going in versus coming out, and vice versa. And yeah, so I love that. So thank you so much.
Yeah. And even your mood follows that, doesn't it? Your mood, it's such like the hibernation to now the coming out and enjoying the sun and letting the sun on your face. And it's like bathing myself now. Yeah.
It really is. I love that. Thank you. Kim, what about you? You had put your hand up.
Yeah, I'd like to share a poem, if you don't mind. Can you hear me okay?
Sure. Yep.
All right. So we gather not to become, but to remember what is already enough. We thank the dark for teaching us where the light lives, for the pauses that save us, for the endings that asked us to loosen our grip. We're grateful for the years that shaped us, the lessons that stayed, and the weight we are finally willing to set down. Tonight, we stand at the hinge of the year, one hand holding what was, one hand open to what may come. We bless the quiet courage, the unseen work, the choices no one applauded, but everything depended on. May we leave this circle lighter. May we carry only what nourishes. May we walk forward, not rushing the light, but trusting it will return when it's ready.
Beautiful. I love that, Kim. And so does that kind of summarize for you what you're grateful for with these last 6 months of transition and healing?
Yeah, I personally have, not me, but my people around me, my family, my husband has had a lot of health issues. And I have been very grateful to pause in those moments of chaos. It's always been one thing after the other. And for me, just being able to, remember what taught me what mattered and staying grounded in my breath, being able to just stay grounded, right? While all of this chaos was happening around me, really helped me look back and reflect on all the things that I learned and have become in the last couple of years, my entire life, but the last couple of years especially.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Kim. And Ambika, what about you?
Since the previous solstice, what I notice is the repetition of certain personal rituals that I love, that I repeat every year. And sometimes the discovery of something maybe I didn't do for the last few years, and I'm renewing, and the habits there with this winter solstice, even in a warm climate, if we get a few cooler nights and I'm not blasting air conditioning, or I do feel cozy and want to wear sleeves, then sometimes I evaluate what was it like last year and what's different or similar about this year. Some of the things that I love are watching myself shift from what kind of tea I'm drinking. I think that's a riot. It happens one day spontaneously. I'll shift from one type to another, and noticing that pattern year to year, that's something that I can always sense. And then there's things that my body does that signals the change of the year. Even though I'm not in a cold climate where it does get bitter, cold winter, I still can notice certain areas of the body's skin, maybe changes and shifts in schedule of meditation or exercise, food, watching the food craving desires shift, what feels good, what feels nurturing. Although I'll eat hot soup and hot tea any time of year. And watching the end of the year approach as the sun sets lower and slower and earlier, as the nights progress to today, and finding myself for the maybe 6 weeks leading into it thinking, gee, it's so dark. It's so dark at night. Although I've been in this body on this planet for 66 years and it still catches me. Wow, it is just inky dark tonight. So that I feel is my creative inner child just really engaging with nature and the flow. And those of you who have been with me before know that I have a deep love and respect and relationship with nature.
Beautiful. Thanks so much. And I love what it is that you just said about just recognizing those different pieces and parts as I shift personally. Like I just keep moving and shifting my own body from just sitting still because my body's more stiff because it's colder and it's that kind of thing. And so when you were saying that, it was like, oh yeah, here I am just like rotating and shifting and trying to find that comfy spot. And I know that 55 years definitely makes a difference when you're trying to like shovel snow and all those kinds of things as well. So for those of us who are in that aging, I don't think Kim's in that same category as the rest of us, but being able to have that recognition and noticing what does our body know and what does it shift and what are we craving and what are we not craving, that kind of thing. So I love that. So Alison, I'm not sure whether or not you want to jump in on this part of the conversation. Is there something that you are grateful for at this time of the year that you want to be able to bring forward and share?
Thank you. Yes, I'm so grateful that the year is coming to a close, actually. It's been a very rough year, and lots of amazing things have happened. So I've been focusing on those things. Moved to a different city for the winter. It's much milder than Whitehorse in the Yukon, and I'm around family, which is wonderful. So it's very easy for most of us to get wrapped up in our heads about what's going wrong. And so this is the time of year that, because it's dark and I'm all within mostly, I really get to focus and remind myself to go with the gratitudes, the things that I'm grateful for, instead of allowing my mind to spin into, oh, I'm annoyed about this and that and this and that, and oh, I wish this and those things. So I was just reflecting on that this morning as I heard myself starting to complain about something in my head. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. It's a good reminder for me, solstice this time of year, and family and friends and all those wonderful things.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, Alison, for that conversation. And so one of the things that, so for me, is being able to recognize where I was 6 months from now was we were in the summertime. I was getting out, spending a lot of times indoors. Now, other than having to shovel, I don't spend a whole lot of times outdoors. But it's just that being able to have that refuge and that connection and being able to find the things that I get to be thankful for and grateful for. And my grandchildren are always something that I'm grateful for as I'm in my grandson's room on his little toddler bed and hanging out in here in his room as we transition to moving into the house. But it's that piece of that connection of just being able to find those little things that we can be grateful for, that we can be thankful for. And I think that is, like Alison said, that is something that when we start getting into those niggling thoughts, because that happens to all of us, like none of us are immune to it. As much as we work on it and we use it and we practice it and we share that practice with our clients, we are not immune to that little inkling conversations that we tend to have with ourselves. And so I am always the glass half full 99% of the time. And there are times that it's, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this happened and that happened. And it's okay, remember, no, all these other things happen too. And so just being able to remember those things and having that conversation. So thanks for that reminder, Alison. I think that is really great in terms of being able to do that. So Ambika, I want to go back to you for a second. And just one of the things that you said during your introduction was talking about us moving into this Capricorn season and moving through that. So do you want to share a little bit more about what that means for people that are like, oh, this is where we're at. This is what's going on. And I've got all these things that are going on. And so maybe sharing a little bit about how that Capricorn energy is coming forward and helping support people during this time of the solstice.
When we are looking at the world, life, our experience through an astrological lens, in the case of the solstice points, as I said earlier, it's about the tilt of the planet. And we have lines that we imaginarily drew around the planet. And that denotes that tilt. The 0 Capricorn point. If we want to get to know a sign, it's really important for us to understand planetary rulership of that sign, as well as the house, if we're looking at it fully astrologically. Because when we relate it to the house, that gives us a compartment, an area of life that we can address. So Capricorn is considered a little more stern, slow, time itself, and ruled by Saturn. So it's the side of Saturn that is a little bit more serious and rules the 10th house of career, which is part of what's called the midheaven of a chart, which is how we go forward in the world. So, how lovely that we use this time of year to set intentions. And we can do this on either solstice because 6 month segments, half the year. Astrologically, I did notice people talking about 2025 being challenging, and yes, it was. And the good news is you should be feeling some ease and opening, because December is a turning point of that intensity we were feeling for many reasons, of things squeezing down on us, challenging us. And now we have this opportunity with Capricorn, who is a sea goat. Let's look at that. Let's just look at the mythological implications of that. A sea goat, a mountain goat that climbs very high and can look down and scan and get a bird's eye view, a mountain goat's eye view of what's going on. The mountain can symbolize the projects and the things in life that you want to accomplish. But what is the sea part of it? That dolphin or sea creature tail, that's an implication of the lofty thoughts connected to the emotions. So integrating those parts of ourselves, we can get really caught up in the emotions via the thoughts, which yogis, we call that vritti, the disturbances of the mind. Just so you know where I'm coming from with that, I have a master's degree in yoga, so the philosophy, especially Advaita Vedanta, is very important to me, and what I continue to study, which is realizing I'm not this body, I'm not the mind, I'm not the thoughts, I'm the witness of the body and the mind. And so when we can look like the sea goat, like Capricorn, and be a witness of the emotions, and it's embodied right there in that one symbol, how cool is that we can get a clearer idea of the mountains we're trying to climb or cross or go around or through.
Wonderful. Thanks, Ambika. So Denise or Kim, does that kind of invoke any thought? So what Ambika just shared, did that invoke any thoughts that you want to be able to share? Denise, you unmuted, so go ahead.
Yeah, for me, I love that statement, witness. Yeah, witness of yourself. And that's a thing that we all forget to do. And that's what I love supporting and helping people with. But with myself, it's really, and that's a day-to-day ritual that I get to witness myself, what I'm feeling, what I'm thinking, and what I'm doing. Are those all the right parts of myself, or all those the parts of myself that I really enjoy or don't enjoy, and how I'm reacting to everything? And like you said, the lofty and the seeing both sides of it, and that is our emotions, and really being able to feel through that. And when you say the solstice, when you say, because I see things from a being perspective of myself in every moment, but when we go into solstice, it's actually reflecting, which helps me to see where I've been and see where I've come and see what I still need to pay attention to, be aware of, and move in. And like you said, this year has been really stagnant for me, in the sense that I have found it really difficult to see where I need to shift to. And the winter was the real getting down and getting into the bunker and really seeing what was there for me. And it's like sometimes we generally go on the first layer, which is anger, or generally it's anger, and then starting to go below that and get past the grief as well, and then even going deeper and deeper into myself to really find that light that magic that, oh, I get that now. I get what I was supposed to be seeing here. And I think when we're in the solstice, we get to remember, because sometimes we move in every day and we forget where we've come from and we forget who I am, and actually seeing how far we've actually come. Seeing how far I've actually come as a human being, as a lover, as a mother, as a grandmother, all those things of who I am, and really going, oh, wow, I have really done so much, and I've come a long way. And even in my children's lives and my grandchildren's life, I can see who I am and how that is imparted on them, for them to be able to navigate their lives and navigate themselves, which has been so beautiful. So I love that. I love the witness, because I'm witnessing myself, which is so beautiful, and witnessing everyone else that I love as well. So it's so beautiful.
And I love that statement of witnessing myself. And both of you have really reminded us about that witnessing is without judgment, right? So just being in that minute moment.
That's
so
the
I love
integral, isn't it?
I love that. So Kim, what about you?
Yes, and yes, yes, and so I look at things from consciousness thinking or animal brain thinking. So it's more practical speaking. And what I have really seen and what I respond to in what you're saying, both of you, is that, and I'll just give an experience so you can see it tactically. When you go back into a community, like I am now diving into my family, whom I'm not always involved with in the situation, with a lot of things going on physically and health wise, and we're all there to help each other. And when I have grown so much in more that conscious dimension, and when I go into that web, I say the web, we weave, right? And people still follow their own patterns, that animal brain pattern, not knowing what they don't know and how they are. It's really cool that I'm able to come in and witness myself, as you're saying, Denise, witness, coming in and witnessing myself, seeing myself grow, like seeing myself not judge, seeing myself just being in consciousness there and not judging and not creating or causing or thinking anything, creating stories or anything, from being in that space, that web, that family culture, right? When you go into a community, there's a thing that happens, right? There's the formation of community, right, that happens. So I just see that I was really actually proud of myself going in for a whole week, coming out going, wow, I handled that like there was no handling of it. I just really just lived and just let it I was there to help my dad, and I was there to be with my dad, not even push or do anything there. And it was beautiful. And I actually was able to see how much my dad loves me by him saying right away, the first day when I saw him, oh, I guess I'm going to have to go in a nursing home because I don't want to impact you kids. I want you kids to be able to have your lives. That's how much he loves us, right? They always were that way and always have been. And just the speaking of it was much more powerful this time. So it's just amazing the growth that I have had, in that it used to be judging and then going back into the old patterns, my thought patterns, and I just didn't or don't do that anymore. So it's beautiful. It's a beautiful experience.
It really is. Alison, do you have anything that you want to add?
No, I think that everyone has very eloquently put it, other than I do love that witnessing my life concept, because takes away the emotion sometimes of when we get really wrapped up in our stuff. So that's a really good reminder. Thank you.
Beautiful, thanks. And I really like that conversation about having that opportunity for us to be able to to be able to witness, where did we come from? What is it that we did? And I'm not sure who exactly it was that had, because we all touched on it, but it's like being able to have that reminder of like, where were you to where you are now, and reminding yourself of that growth. And so for myself at the age of 55, knowing that things are much different than when I was 9, much different than when I was 30, and again when I was 40. And so just being able to remind myself of like, where did I come from? Where did I go? And how do I get to where it is that I am now? And where do I want to go? And being able to use those skills and those things that I've learned over the years as to how do I make it move forward, and how do I connect that with this next 6 months journey for myself, and being able to have that opportunity for us to be able to tap into what's next. And so the next question that I have, just still leading into this discussion, was, so some of the things of like how I've noticed that things are different, and the things that I'm grateful for, and how it's easy to spin out from those kinds of things. But how do we actually look at moving ahead? How do we fix, I don't want to say fix isn't the right word that I'm looking for. How do we move things going forward to that next journey, or that next level of who we want to become, and who we've been working at becoming, and being able to, I know that a lot of the people that are within my age and the people that I know have shifted based on being able to grow into a different person. And I don't mean different as in what we were before was bad or not good, but that we are moving into this newer being of the version of ourselves that we appreciate and that we enjoy, and being able to be authentic to who we are. Who wants to pipe in on that one, on that question? Ambika?
What I want to just add on to the witnessing bit I shared is that in the witnessing, we become non-reactive. When a thought rolls around and repeats, that's because we're re-reacting to it. So what I do, I can share what I do. I could share what I did today. I took a journal, one of my more recent journals that's fully completed, that has no more pages left, and I read it earlier today like a book. And then I sat down to write what we could call affirmations, wishes, intentions for the coming year. I don't know if anybody's ever done this particular process, but we know that we have 12 months in a year, but we have 13 moons. And so there's a process that takes 13 intentions or 13 wishes, and you write them on little pieces of paper, and then you fold them up and twist them up so you don't know which is which, and mix them up in a bowl. And starting tonight, this is one way to do it. There's other ways to do it. I could explain it, but this is the way I'm doing it this year. So I have my 13 little wishes on little tiny pieces of paper, and they're so small that I put them in a little seashell to use as a bowl, because I love the ocean and salt water. And then mix them up, and at sundown, starting on the solstice, you burn one, trusting that intention, that desire, that wish, that affirmation, that proclamation is being carried in the air. And then I take the ash and bury it under one of the biggest tree on my property at the base of it. And on the last night, you're left with one. That one you unfold and you look at, and that's your intention for the year. That's one setup. Another thing I do is when I build a vision board, a collage of cutout paper, I do it on top of a very focused scheme of affirmations. So underneath my collage are affirmations, and I do take a photograph of them. The ones that I did today, I didn't photograph. They were in the moment. I'm trusting I'll see what the last one is. I didn't keep a record. You could, like on the paper before you cut it up. But with my vision boards, I do take a picture, and I did study that today to look, to think, what do I want these proclamations for 2026 to be? And Then I also look at my vision boards. Sometimes I save them, sometimes I don't. But I always have the one from the year we're in. So I have this year's that was started in 2024. And I look at what did I create? What did I do? What's on there that I manifested? And really take note of it. So these are little processes that I do that I hope I inspire other people to play with. And you can surely start the either of those processes at any point. Why not? Why not do it whenever you're feeling it? But I just wanted to share what I did today.
Beautiful. Thanks so much. And Amika, that 13 moons ritual that you did is that I actually did that. So I had somebody who taught me that last year. And so my goal for tonight is to go back and look at what was that intention for the year, because we did it around this time together as a group. And yeah, so I'm looking forward to being able to do that. But that's last year was the first time that I've ever heard it. And then that's what you actually shared today. So really interesting. I love how things come full circle when you least expect, right? I would have never expected that would be something that we would be talking about today, because that was not part of where I was thinking, right? So I love those kinds of discussions. So Kim, I see you nodding. So do you want to share what your thoughts are about that?
Yeah, so I really do believe that every moment you live in the moment, and the small pieces and parts that you do in your life, each moment will actually your future is. I do at the end of the year always. So during this time is I actually write a letter of forgiveness,
Oh,
and then I throw it away just to get it out and away, so I release it. Another thing that I like to do is I actually like to do sun salutations on this day. Waking up doing that, so that even in the morning to do that at least. The other thing that I like to do, not everyone to swim, but maybe walking or something. For me, getting up at 5 in the morning, swimming in the pool helps me release all thoughts and angers. It's really helped me get in the moment, kind of release all this stuff and then get into the moment. I know that I walk my future at the moment. So that's something to always it's like not an intention really, not setting an intention to future. It is being who you are right now. Right? Beyonce did that. She actually created herself and she always lived that self that wasn't her, and now she is that. Just the Spanx lady. She was selling vacuum cleaners in the 90s, but she lived herself at that time and she is that now. So that is something that is an easy thing. It's an intent, just being who you really are, and you become that because you are.
beautiful. I love that, Kim. And Denise, what about you? What are some things that you do?
Oh, for me, it's I live from each moment as well. I think that's where the magic is. I feel that I wake up every morning asking, what can I see more of myself today? Or what is something new that I didn't know about myself that I can see? And throughout the day, all these things come forward. So it's just a matter, the energy is energy. What I think and what I say are the same things. So if I'm thinking it, the universe will go, okay, that's what you want. I can say it as well. They will go, yes, so that comes forward. You either see it, you either choose to see it or not. But it's about, and those are the intentions. What we speak are the intentions. What we think are the intentions. So it's being, for me, I've learned to be really mindful of what I'm thinking. So I really drop into my heart, because my heart is my truth. The heart is my authenticity. So it's really coming from that space to let my thinking then go out there. And for me, I love to meditate in my garden. My garden's it's like my brain turns off and everything flows. And it's like when I meditate under my tree as well. And yeah, just allowing that space for yourself to do those things that we call them rituals, but they're just things we love to do. That's the authentic side of myself. That's who I am. And it's about being okay with who I am no matter what, whether the bad stuff comes, I've got to feel. I've got to feel everything around me. I've got to feel what I'm thinking, what I'm saying, what's happening to me. Because sometimes I'm so reactive until I go, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Here I am again. And being really kind to myself about that, because like we said, no judgment. And forgiving myself, oh, I didn't catch that as well as I should have. I'm so grateful I did catch that. So even though we might, or I might even be really hard on myself and say stuff that is very unkind to myself, but I'll always add on to the end, but I really caught it and I'm so grateful for that, because that's the part my body remembers. That's the part that every cell hangs on to. So it's really, if you're just starting this journey and seeing these things, it's about that kindness, adding that kindness to every sentence, adding that kindness to every thought. Even though I've had a really shocking day, but I'm grateful. Look, I made it through. I'm still here. I'm still going. How great is that? So it's that kindness that we add on to ourselves in every moment. That's a big thing for me. And it's like when I see with my grandkids and they do stuff or that and they get upset at themselves, I said, but it's great. Look what you've done. Look how it's come out for you. And show them how to be grateful and showing, because that's who I am. It's about me emulating or being the emulation that somebody else could be for themselves. If they choose not to, that's okay. And I love the part that you said, Kim. I think it was you. No, it was you, Ambika. It's about our reactive or our non-reactive. And in the middle if that is the flow, allowing myself and that forgiveness of myself that, oh, I was really unkind to myself. Oh, I was really unkind to somebody else. How can I make up for that for myself? I don't have to make up for anybody else. It's about, oh, I can see what I've done there. And it's just our awareness, paying attention to ourselves, witnessing ourselves and every action, reaction, status. Yeah, really love that today.
Beautiful. Thanks so much. And it really is about being able to have those conversations with ourselves, right? So it's easy to have conversations with other people where we have other people's opinions, and then we get to figure out like what works for us, what doesn't work for us. And so it's great to be able to have that opportunity to be able to hear from others, but at the same time, being able to like really go within and have that conversation about where does that come from for me? How does that impact how my life is actually going to move ahead, or how has it already moved ahead, and that I'm continuing to propel that particular thing that I have going on in terms of how to move ahead and move forward and have
Curiosity, isn't it?
the curiosity. I love that. Curiosity.
Curiosity.
Thank you. I was like trying to search for that word. So thank you. And really being able to come in and come with it from that playful perspective. And even so, we've talked about how there have been a lot of people that have had this shit year, that it's not been great and it's not been the most fulfilling or rewarding in the grand scheme of things. But when we go back and look at the smaller moments, there's been lots of things that we can actually pick out that we're actually grateful for. But when we're looking at that overall picture, so Kim shared about her lots of things going on in her family and how those things have impacted. And those are not good things. Those are not things that anybody wants to have to experience. But when you actually think back to those conversations, where one of the things that Kim shared at the beginning was being able to have that opportunity with family and having that connection and rediscovering your relationship within the family when you're coming together, because you're growing. Hopefully the people around you are growing. Some don't, but then how does all that come together? And so that we're coming together as a family group. And with it being solstice gives us that opportunity to be able to see where are we at. But at this particular time of year, for most people, it is also where we have these interaction and these connections with people that have not always been, may not necessarily have been the ones that the relationships or the connections that we want to continue, and we set boundaries and we do whatever it is that we need to do for the rest of the year. But for whatever reason, we get stuck in the shuffle of this time of year in terms of the holiday. And so I love that. I love that particular conversation. So Alison, before we actually just say goodbye to all of our wonderful guests that are actually sharing, is there anything that you want to be able to add in terms of the rediscovery of self for you?
Thank you. Yes, for me, the word kindness for ourselves is huge. And I think that's going to be my word for the coming year. That showing ourselves compassion, it is huge. Because if we can't do that, then we're stuck in that energy of anger and frustration and being stuck in wherever it is that we are. So
Yeah.
Thank you. That's awesome. This has been lovely. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Alison. And so on that note, we will come back together and with a reminder of giving thanks and forgiveness. And I like how Kim actually talked about that forgiveness piece, because no matter what it is that was going on in our life, being able to forgive so that we can let go and release something that no longer serves us. And forgiving does not mean condoning someone's behavior, right? So condoning things that have happened to us. That's not what forgiveness means. Ambika talked about being able to go back and reflect on how things have actually come by where was I last year, this time last year, and being able to have those connections. And Denise reminding us that it is so important for us to be able to have these conversations and these connections, and how do we move forward to that. And so I know that for me, being able to connect with gratitude, connect with things that I'm grateful for, and being able to move forward as to how things are going to be. And so when I look back 6 months ago, we were still trying to figure out where we were going, what we were doing. We have a plan for building, but it's not happening as fast as I would like it to be. And so I've been putting off coming into the house entirely. So we started off in the fall, just starting to come and cook and clean and be part of the household again. And we had an unexpected fire that made us move from outside to inside. And that happened last night. And like, this is that reminder of that transition of where things are going. And so that is my solstice. Remember, my solstice reminder of being able to come in from the dark to the light, and being able to have this connection and being able to move forward. And so that is what I want to leave people with, is that I can be all upset about how challenging that was and will be of doing that transition, but being able to be grateful that there was no injury, that everybody was good, and being able to have that connection of being able to be able to snuggle with my grandchildren. So chances are my grandson's going to come in and snuggle up with us through the night at different points, because he's going to be saying like, hey, I want to sleep in with you guys tonight, kind of thing. So being able to be grateful for those moments, but also being able to be grateful for something in the universe protected us from having any catastrophe to happen, that allowed us to be able to still be here and be able to have these conversations. So just remind ourselves that when something is not necessarily positive in the grand scheme of things, what is it in those moments that we can be grateful for, that we can give thanks for, and that we can actually carry that energy forward, versus being stuck in the, oh my gosh, this happened and now I have to do this, and all those things those are all things that we still have to do. But being able to live in that energy in our heart space of, I get to have extra snuggles with my grandson, and being able to live in those moments. So finding that one moment that can actually help to keep things sparked. Kim shared about that one moment where her dad made that statement and shared the importance. And so she gets to carry that forward through his illness, and she supports him through that. And so, yeah, and Alison switching up and changing up from living in one place to somewhere new and being able to go from that. And so I want to invite everyone to just in matter of time, in keeping with time, just one word that you can actually carry forward into the new year. And so one of you have already shared it, but I'd like you to share it again. So one word that you are carrying into the new year. Ambika, do you want to share?
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Beautiful. Denise?
That was my word as well, but also self-witnessing.
Beautiful. And Kim?
Expansion.
Expansion. Beautiful. Alison, do you want to share yours, Kim?
Kindness.
The kindness. And so mine is closeness and being able to have that closeness. So thank you again to all of you for being here. Thank you again for Sophia and her team for putting together these awesome opportunities where we can have these conversations and we get to be able to blend all this wisdom that we actually get to bring together with everyone. And if you are not part of wisdom circles or you're not part of these discussions, I invite you to reach out to Sophia and her team or go to the website and find some ways to be able to come and be part of these discussions. I know that this has actually been something that has been very healing for me in the last 8 months, I think, or no, 10 months. I think I started in February that I started in with Sacred You in this last year. And it really has helped me grow and continue to be able to be witness to my own self. And so thank you, Sophia. Off to you.
And thank you, Rollie. Seriously, seriously, thank you. This has been a wonderful wisdom circle. I've been fortunate that I can sit here and listen in the background. And I just want to acknowledge you for facilitating it, Rollie, and for Ambika and Denise and Kim and Alison for joining us. Oh my God, thank you so much. Love the tips. Ambika, I love the tips about the 13 notes. Yes, we've got 13 moons. Love that. Because to me, solstice is the new year. Brings about newness, whether it's going into the longest days or the shorter days, and it's both. You guys are now going into your longer days, but in 6 months' time it will change very quickly for us. So love all the tips, and forgiveness, definitely. Thank you, Kim. That's part of it too. Again, for anyone out there who's watching either the live or the replay, click on the links below, connect with these amazing women, and also to Sacred You. Just come and join us, sacredyou.love. If you put / join free, you can join us for free. Hang out in our village, connect with women on a spiritual path from all over the world, and that's where we go live with all our programs coming up next year, because this is our last event, Rollie. My God, our last event. Not only, yes, our last wisdom circle for the year, but we've got so many more wisdom circles for next year. Plus we've got archetype circles and rituals and so much. Check it all out on the website below. And again, without holding everyone back, thank you ever so much. It has been really our honor to present these for the whole year. Truly, thank you so much for coming.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sophia. And I'm honored that we are the final circle, the final event of Sacred You for this year.
We were the final panel discussion a few days ago. Now it's the final wisdom circle for the year. And what a wonderful thing, because like I said, for solstice is so powerful, so much more than we've all got these holiday seasons coming up now. But for me, and I know for a lot of other people, solstice is very powerful when we step into the energy. So
it really is. And Denise, you're going to need to look up what a 5 means, because you have your 5 children, your 5 grandchildren, and we had 5 of us on this discussion tonight. So there's something about 5 for you that you need to go and figure out how that ties in for you. Yeah. So just go check that out, because I'm not sure exactly what that means, but I just thought that it was important to share.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'll do that.
looking
If I can't figure it, I'll come and see you. I'll reach out.
And of course, before we go, really quickly, Rollie, of course, you are the facilitator, the host of the Moon Medicine Circles. So tell us really about that.
So our moon medicine circle is all about cycles and energies and how to be able to bring those things together. And so moon medicine isn't just about the moon cycle, it's about all of our cycles, all of our cyclical cycles, being able to bring in the astrology, but bringing in the healing energies that are out there. So Reiki energy or healing energy, crystals, essential oils, medicines, and whatever it is that comes forward into what it is that we need to be able to help heal our own selves. And that is what I refer to as moon medicine. And so in our tradition, our moon time is one of our cycles, is one of our biggest cycles as women. And so being able to bring in that moon, that personal medicine, to being able to have all this external medicine is where moon medicine comes into play. So we talk about lots of things, and come and join us on Friday evenings, my time on this side of the world, and Saturday mornings on the other side of the world.
And thank you. And I'm looking forward to next year and all the medicines that you bring. And of course, you're also offering your heart medicine rituals, which start next month. More information about that below. Come and join us. That will be very exciting. Heart medicine rituals. Thank you again. Truly honored. We are deeply grateful for all you women and everyone else who's been joining us over the years, for joining us for our wisdom circles for this year. Looking forward to 2026.